What's up, guys? Today is day 55 trying to make $1 million. The truth is I'm real tired right now, but no matter, I keep going, bro. I will never stop, probably. Never, ever. For today, I need to keep learning, and I prepare another video to watch with you guys. I'm really tired and I want to live, but no matter, I know I need to go live if I want to make $1 million. It's hard because I have no results. And I do my best. I post every single day, I go live every single day, I try to give you the best content, and I have 0 viewers. But no matter, I will go live every single day during 365 days. I'm starting my own company, Big Way, to make $1 million in 365 days. I know it's possible. I know it's possible. Let me share a screen with you guys. 3, 2, 1, boom. We're going to learn from this guy. This guy is the founder of Gymshark. So I know I can learn a lot from this guy. Let's watch the
So today I wanted to do a video that tells you guys, 1, how to start your own business, 2, some of the tools which I think are absolutely vital, and 3, talk about some of the mistakes that we found during the inception stage of building this incredible brand.
I will rise, I will grow, I will climb to the place I belong. I will fight like the world's never known, like the world's never known.
My name's Ben Francis and I founded a company called Gymshark 7 years ago. Gymshark was the UK's fastest growing business, and we've gone from 0 to over 300 staff and over $200 million turnover in no time whatsoever. And on that journey, we have learned so much. So today I wanted to do a video that tells you guys, 1, how to start your own business, 2, some of the tools which I think are absolutely vital, not only in starting the business, but running a business, and 3, talk about some of the mistakes that we found, especially at the start during the inception stage of building this incredible brand. This is a really difficult video, so this is the most requested video in terms of when you look at all the comments and even like what a lot of people are searching to get to my channel. And this is a really weird one because at this point I'm literally almost reverse engineering a lot of the things that just happened when we first started, but I found it a really interesting exercise to try and work out what's worked, what hasn't worked and why. I'm going to do a bunch of different videos, and this one's going to start very much with the inception, the creation of the business, the tools which will really help you do that and help you prosper in the early stages of starting your own business. I'll then make later videos as part of probably this sort of playlist or series that will go into, you know, maybe the first $1 million turnover, building out, hiring the first few staff, and building the business into more of a lifestyle business. And then the next stage in terms of that next step, which we found really difficult, was that $10 million to $100 million stage. And then we're just going now, Phil, into the next stage of that when we're starting to really globalize and internationalize the Gymshark business. And I'm really excited to show you guys how that works, and hopefully you guys can learn from that as well. Before starting Gymshark, I had around 7 different websites, so I was running loads of different things. And I've tried to work out why it was Gymshark the one that I stuck with, because Gymshark absolutely did not do well at the start. It took us several months to get the first sale. And I think the reason that I stuck with Gymshark and I really fell in love with Gymshark, whilst we're waiting for Biffa to sort out the bins because of the noise, LinkedIn, I've been living on LinkedIn lately. It's absolutely brilliant, especially seeing as this is a more business related video. If you are interested in more of this sort of content, check me out on LinkedIn, because genuinely I think it's been an absolutely amazing social media. I've only been using it properly for about a week or so, but I'm currently absolutely obsessed with LinkedIn. It's not even Biffa, it's Veolia. So when you're starting your own business, the first thing that it needs to have is a clear purpose. When I look back to Gymshark and why Gymshark succeeded, it was all around the defined purpose that Gymshark had. From day one, Gymshark has always succeeded. It was all around the defined purpose that Gymshark had. From day one, Gymshark has always been around
the purpose. Point one, the purpose. That's very important, and we'll also learn that from What's Your Dream, the book from Simon Squid. You need to have a purpose, and a purpose helps you succeed.
Bringing people together, and that's why immediately, as soon as we could afford to, we were doing the event, and to this day we still invest so much money into events despite not making any money from them. Gymshark is around inspiring people to improve themselves both physically and mentally, and that's an area of huge personal importance to me, because I wasn't actually doing that well at school. And it was only when I got into the gym and applied a lot of the lessons that I learned in the gym in terms of sticking to a routine, you know, just turning up day after day and just working hard, changing things up when they got stale. Applying these sort of things into my school life and then my professional life really helped me to succeed. So purpose is single-handedly for me the most important thing, and if you don't have a purpose, either the business will fizzle out or you'll end up giving up on it. So for the rest of this video, I want to focus on 3 main areas that you need to focus on in order to start your...
How I can apply this to my own business? What's the purpose of Big Way? What's my purpose? My purpose is to create a world of impossible. That's my dream. And the purpose with Big Way is to help runners to go beyond their own limits. Help people go beyond human limits. That's what I'm trying to do with the shoe that I want to create.
Your own business and then help it to prosper. So those 3 things are the tools, the mindsets, and the foundations that you need. So we'll start off by going through some of the tools. Now this isn't an exhaustive list, but these are the first tools that come to mind for me when I'm thinking about the things that are really important in starting your business and really helping it to run and prosper at the beginning. So the main, most important tools that you need to know inside out for me are Shopify, Photoshop, Illustrator, Zendesk. Shopify, Photoshop, Illustrator, Zendesk, and social media. Shopify, Photoshop, Illustrator, Zendesk.
Zendesk. I never heard about that website or app. The most comprehensive customer service platform powered by AI. Equip your agents with powerful AI tools and workflows that increase efficiency and elevate customers' experience across all channels. Okay, interesting.
Desk and social media. Oh, cool, first time. That was quite good. With these things, if you can know these things inside out, if you can really learn to master these tools, then believe me, it'll feel like you've got a superpower, and I think they're absolutely vital to your business succeeding. First and foremost, Shopify. Shopify, whether you are a small starting business or you're a huge international business, for me, Shopify is huge. We actually moved away from Shopify at one point in the Gymshark history. It didn't go very well for us and we ended up moving back. And I think it was through that experience that we really understood the value of Shopify. If you're just starting out, you can literally make a website in a day. You can use some of their core templates that comes with the platform.
That's one of the first things I'm going to do when I create a show. Create a Shopify store. Open a Shopify store.
It's super cheap, it's simple, it's easy to use, and as a small business, when you haven't got much money, it gives you an opportunity to create a website that historically would cost you, thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands overnight, and I think that's absolutely vital. For me, in the way that Apple made software on phones and computers super intuitive and simple, Shopify have done that with software on phones and computers super intuitive and simple. Shopify have done that with online websites and e-commerce. Photoshop, probably single-handedly my favorite piece of software, my go-to, whether I need to try and demonstrate something or explain a concept or an idea or something that I want us to create. Photoshop is my go-to for this. I think myself, and I think a lot of people now, nowadays are quite visual, and I think it's a lot easier to get a message across to people if you can demonstrate an idea of what it would look like, and instantly it's way easier to get those concepts and those ideas across to other people, and to get a message across to people if you can demonstrate an idea of what it would look like, and instantly it's way easier to get those concepts and those ideas across to other people, and you'll realize, by the way, that business is all about people. Getting those ideas to people would look like, and instantly it's way easier to get those concepts and those ideas across to other people, and you'll realize, by the way, that business is all about people. Getting those ideas across to people is so much easier when you've got Photoshop, you've got Photoshop skills, and you can create little visual pieces which show the message that you're trying to convey. I think genuinely everyone should know how to use Photoshop to a degree. Like I said, whether it's a new idea, a hierarchy, a product, a logo, a concept, a thumbnail, whatever it is, for me, Photoshop is absolutely vital because it's all around ideas and it's all about evoking emotion and winning over the people and having them buy into your idea, and that's so much easier to do in a visual way rather than just through explanation, words and numbers. Illustrator, this is something I haven't used as much lately, but at the start it was something that was really important to the brand, and we used Illustrator to make not only our logos but all the initial screen printed designs that we were running. So when we first started, we were sewing explanation, words and numbers. Illustrator, this is something I haven't used as much lately, but at the start it was something that was really important to the brand, and we used Illustrator. I haven't used as much lately, but at the start it was something that was really important to the brand, and we used Illustrator to make not only our logos but all the initial screen printed designs that we were running. So when we first started, we were sewing and screen printing on product, and Illustrator was so important because it meant that we could make the logos that would then go onto the product. Now Illustrator is really good because on Illustrator you can make vector graphics, which are basically means that no matter how big or small that you make them, they won't distort and they won't pixelate. So for me, Illustrator is the go-to software when you're making logos and graphics and things like that. Zendesk, from a customer service point of view, it's absolutely brilliant. Back in the day when I was working at Pizza Hut and in between deliveries I used to jump on and respond to customers, we could do that through Zendesk. What's great about in between deliveries I used to jump on and respond to customers, absolutely brilliant. Back in the day when I was working at Pizza Hut and in between deliveries I used to jump on and respond to customers, we could do that through Zendesk. What's great about Zendesk, as well as you start to hire staff, is that it's a ticketed system, so different people can jump in and help customers as they go, and again it just means that you can be super close to your customer. Zendesk for me at the moment is the market leader tool for that, especially for small businesses or people that are just starting up. Super cheap, super easy, similar to Shopify, super intuitive and easy to use, and you just want to make sure that you're staying as close to your customers and fans as possible. Last but definitely not least, social media. Arguably the thing that did blow Gymshark up was social media. Back in the day it was more Facebook and YouTube led. Lately you've got things such as Snapchat, TikTok, IGTV and all these things blowing up. But social media is just It's just incredible, and as a company like us, it's just invaluable, again, because you get instant feedback, and that is so valuable, whether it's positive or more importantly negative, because you need to understand how to improve constantly. Social media is just brilliant. Social media for me, it comes into sort of two categories. You've got organic social media and paid, because a lot of it's getting paid now, especially on the Facebook owned companies. What I say to the team here is that the organic reach that you see today is the best it'll ever be. It becomes sort of two very different problems to solve in a sense. On organic, you want to focus on virality, on organic engagement, on evoking emotion. When it gets to paid social media advertising, you need to be super targeted, you need to be super brief, you need to make sure that you're getting your message across instantly. You only have a split second to catch. When it gets to
one thing that I learned is that if you pay ads, the only thing that ads do is amplifying what you already have. If you have bad content, you amplify the bad content. But if your content is good, you are amplifying the content, the good content. So ads wouldn't help you to go viral if the video sucks. The ads only amplify what you already have.
Paid social media advertising, you need to be super targeted, you need to be super brief, you need to make sure that you're getting your message across instantly. You only have a split second to capture someone's imagination, and I think that's more true now than ever. Next, I want to focus a little bit on the mindset, because this is so important, and I know that Gary Vee talks a lot about this and he focuses a lot on self-awareness, but I cannot tell you how important mindset is in terms of succeeding in starting your own business, and then some of the first people that will join that business as well. So what you need, and this is not just yourself, but the people that are working in the business at the start and helping you out, you need to be ambitious, you need to be a lateral thinker, you need to be self-aware, you need to be creative, and for me, you have to absolutely be what we call a doer. So you need to be...
Okay, what do you need to be? Ambitious. I consider myself the most ambitious man in the world, because I want to go to the moon, I want to drive an F1 car, I want to create a real size chocolate castle, I want to make impossible things, bro. So I consider myself the most ambitious person in the whole world. And also I'm trying to make $1 million in just 1 year, bro. If that's not ambitious, tell me what is. What is ambition? I want to be the definition of ambition. When people think ambitious person, something is ambitious, I want people to think in me. Lateral thinker. Self-aware. Creative. That's a hard point. Creative. You need to be creative. And it's very hard because posting every single day is hard. It's so difficult. And I'm trying to be creative. I'm trying to post a new video in different ways, with different angles, taking different shots, and saying different things in an interesting way with a good storytelling. And it's hard. It's very hard to be creative.
Need to be creative, and for me, you have to absolutely be what we call a doer. So you need to be the sort of person that's going to grab something by the scruff of the neck and just get it done and move it forward, and constantly progressing. You need the neck and just get it. get it done and move it forward and constantly progressing. You need to hold yourself accountable. You need to be self-aware. So you need to, I think one of the things that I think I certainly am quite proud of myself for doing is I was self-aware enough to know the areas which I'm not very good at and the areas which I am good at. And
That's a good point, and now we'll learn also that you need to be, you need to know what you love and what you are good at, and also what you are bad at, in order to find a co-founder or find a good team or find A players. You need to know these three things.
it really helped Gymshark to grow faster when I just sort of, and it really pained me, by the way, it broke my heart to do it at the start, to take a step back from certain areas of the business that I loved because I wasn't very good at them, and brought in people that are significantly better than I am. And I think that's so important, and for me that all comes down to self-awareness. Lateral thinking is, for me, it's not talked about enough. I think if you can think outside the box, and again, all the most successful people here at Gymshark are lateral thinkers. If they see a problem, they're turning it upside down, inside out. They're trying to work out different ways of solving this problem, ways of doing things that have never been done before. And lateral thinking and creativity for me are very closely linked. But it's just so important that you can think laterally and that you can be a great problem solver, because when you first start in a business there are so many problems, whether it's financially or all sorts of issues that will pop up, and you're going to have to think about ways of getting around them. Ambition, you have to be ambitious as well, because it is so tough. Genuinely, running Gymshark, especially in the early days, was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was mentally so difficult, so stressful. But if you have that ambition, if you're pursuing that purpose that you've already defined, then believe me, you will get through it. And yeah, it's absolutely vital. And all of these things go for the people around you as well. It's so important that you surround yourself with a great, ambitious, creative, lateral thinking, self-aware team. Finally, last but not least, I want to talk about foundations, and believe me, this is so important that you have great foundations in your.
Okay, the most important thing I learned from this video is the tools that you need, because a lot of videos are motivational videos but don't teach you real things that you will need when you start a business. So the tools: Shopify, Illustrator, Zendesk, social media, and Photoshop. Take notes, guys. If you want to start a business, you will need these 5 things, 5 tools.
Your business from the start. So the main things is find great foundation in your business from the start. So the main things that I wanted to go over here is finance, taxes, and hiring.
Wait, I need to take notes. Okay. To have great foundations to your business from the start.
These are the things that I just wanted to run over in terms of the foundations of the business. So first and foremost, you want to start the business properly. You want to find a good accountant. So if any accountant is coming to you saying that, you know, they can dodge you this tax there or anything like that, or they'll be able to do a little thing for you here and help you out there, believe me, just leave them, walk away. You need a good, solid accountant. You want to pay your taxes on time. The last thing you want to be doing is just trying to get away with anything. If you don't pay your taxes, you will get found out, and when you do, it will be an absolute nightmare, and all you need to be doing is focusing on the things you're really good at. So get a great accountant.
What a helpful video, bro. This is one of the best videos I've seen. Bro. Wow, what a great video, bro.
Accountant, pay your taxes, and have great financial foundations. Last point on this subject that I want to talk through is hiring, and it sort of goes back to the mindset piece that I spoke about a moment ago. But in hiring, when we first started hiring people for Gymshark, we hired purely on gut instinct, and that's the other thing that I think you always need to follow. It's always follow your gut instinct, because generally for me, that will always be right, and some of the few but only regrets that I do have in life have been from not following my gut instinct. You have to be hiring people that are better than you. They have to be better than you. If they're not, then you need to sort of look at your ego, you need to look at yourself, because that's what's truly going to allow the business to prosper. So that was a super top line overview of some of the things, the key areas that I think you need to focus on in starting your own business. A few little lessons of the things that we've learned at Gymshark. This has been a lot more business oriented, and this has been something that people have been asking for a long time, so hopefully you enjoy it. And as always, thank you so much for watching.
Okay. I also prepare another video because I need to improve my storytelling skills.
I'm going to show you how to go and make your stories addictive in the 6-part framework that turns any story into profit. So as you're going through this as well, I want you to think about one story you've already told or want to tell. And I put together a short storytelling growth assessment that you can use after this video to map that story and then see whether it can actually scale into sales. Watch this first and then go and diagnose your story after. Step 1, make your stories addictive. First, you need to understand how to make your stories addictive. In my How to Work Less and Earn More video, which hit over 598,000 views, I opened up with, if you thought of someone making $730,000 per month, how long would you guess they're working? Most would guess 12 to 14 hours a day. I'm doing the complete opposite. Then I held that tension through the whole video. I didn't explain how until several minutes in, and the result? People couldn't click away. The reason this works is the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain genuinely hates unfinished business. Once you open a loop in someone's mind, their nervous system craves that closure. You literally can't stop thinking about it until it's resolved. Now, when you're going and creating any video, or maybe you're writing something, right? The main goal here is to actually go and retain people to the end. And when you're thinking, say, about a YouTube thumbnail, the core currency and emotion you're trying to drive there is intrigue. Intrigue is gonna go and drive the click. But once someone's in the video, it's tension that you wanna go and create. That retention is gonna be created when people are really sucked into the story. And in order to do that, you wanna go and open up different loops and then go and create that tension and don't close it for, a few minutes later in the video. You wouldn't believe what happened next. And this nearly killed my business. This was crazy, but nothing yet compared to what happened next. These kinds of questions keep people diving in. Now their brain leans in and it needs the answer. What you'll often see is when you use these kind of tactics multiple times throughout a video, you're gonna make sure that people are hooked in the story all the way through. On the other side of things, shitty stories basically go and get someone hooked at the beginning, but then the story just seems to fall flat because there's no more curiosity gaps. And so when you're going and getting that story dialed in, make sure you put the right curiosity gaps throughout it to keep the viewer retained. Step 2, use storytelling as your growth engine. Storytelling is your fastest path to revenue. People remember stories 20 times more than facts. Stories get people emotionally involved in your brand. As much as we like to think that we're just these rational beings, the reality is we make emotional decisions, especially when we're purchasing. And so your story is an amazing opportunity to develop that emotional resonance and that emotional bond with your core dream customer. This explains the psychology behind luxury brands.
Wait.
A Birkin bag costs $50,000. And trust me, it's not because the leather's something special, but because of the story, the artisans, the waiting list, the heritage. Someone will wait 3 years for that story. Your story is your strategy. But more than that, a story is a funnel. A funnel is the path someone takes from never hearing about you to becoming a paying customer.
Whoa.
Most people think it's linear. Traffic leads to
Stories like a funnel. What an interesting concept. I need to see stories like a funnel.
calls leads to sales, but that's not actually how humans buy. The real funnel is this. It's attention to trust, to belief, to action. Attention gets people to stop scrolling. Trust makes them listen.
Wait, I need to take notes.
Belief makes them think, this could work for me. Action is when they finally buy. For me, when building FounderOS, I could have said, we just teach systems. Instead, I told the story of the 15-hour days I was working at 22, miserable, trapped, and depressed, and the transformation then to building a portfolio of businesses doing over $13.8 million a year, all while being able to travel the world and really enjoy my life. So show people where you are and tell that story of that journey. The founders with the best stories win. What are those stories that, people can really get gripped to around your brand? It may be your founder story. It may be big crucibles of leadership you've had to overcome. Maybe it's the best stories from your customers that have gotten amazing results. That's how you move them from attention to action. That's how you make profits way faster. And so now you might be wondering, well, what if my story isn't good enough? That's where most people are dead wrong. Step 3, your story is really your unfair advantage. And I have proof here. There's one thing Kim Kardashian understands about business that most founders ignore. Kim Kardashian skims versus every Shopify shapewear brand. There's some obvious things that stand out, right? Same product, same factories, but Skims crushes them. Why? Right? Same every shop's about business that most founders ignore. Kim Kardashian skims versus every Shopify shapewear brand. There's some obvious things that stand out, right? Same product, same factories, but Skims crushes them. Why? People buy into Kim's story, her journey, her obsession with shapewear because of the insane outfits she wears. That's the moat generic brands can't copy. For me, sharing one of my worst periods of my life had the same effect. I'd gone through business school and honestly felt like the whole investment in going to business school was a complete fucking waste of time. This was the genesis of why I went and created BitMaker, my first company. The goal there was to go and train full stack software engineers, 7 months in, crushing it, $200K per month, and then the government comes and raids my business. Two agents walk in after seeing an article in the Globe and Mail, and they tell me that we got to shut down because they think that I'm operating an unregistered private career college, which was pretty insane because we weren't giving any grades. We were certainly not a university or a college. We were just a training program getting people jobs at top tech companies in Toronto like Shopify, Facebook, and Google. I could go to jail for a year, fined up to $1 million, fucking insane. And the main thing that I know to do in that moment was tell the story to as many humans as possible. Sure enough, I went and stayed up for 48 hours straight, emailed over 3,000 people personally, and told the story of why we had created BitMaker and the impact it was having across the Canadian tech community. The story went viral, and within 1 week, the government backed off. We got the only exemption of its kind in Canada. Fast forward 1 year later, we trained over 2,000 software engineers, and the business.
Important point here, I need to tell my story, and my story is that I want to end with my life. I have no purpose, no dreams. So that's when it hit me. And let me show you guys, let me show you. I want to share my story with you at this point. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm back. My story was that this is my story. Living with death. I decided I have no purpose, no dreams, so I decided to write 100. 100 dreams, 100 goals, 100 life purpose. 100 life purpose. That's living with death, a list of 100 things I want to do before I die, because at that moment in my life I wanted to die. So I decided to write 100 dreams because I had no dreams, no purpose. Then I decided to start with this one, make $1 million. And I decided to make $1 million in just 1 year. In just 1 year, I only have 365 days to make my dreams a reality. If I fail, I will forget my dreams and go to college, study something, or find a job. Find somewhere to work at. Find a job. Go to college or find a job. That's my story. So I decided to write 100 life purpose, and I want to help people to find their purpose, their dreams, because I don't want people feel like me. Because I was devastated, I had depression, I was devastated, and I had no dreams. So I want people to dream again. I want people to achieve those dreams. I want people to live, because most people are alive but don't really live, and that's what living with death means. Live because you only have one life, one shot. Living with death means I rather choose to live with death than to die while I'm still alive. That's why my personal diary is called Living with Debt. So, and the fourth point is that I want people to believe in the impossible, that truly believe that the impossible can be done. That's why I choose to make $1 million in just 1 year, to prove that it's possible to make the impossible. I only have 1 year to make $1 million. And I came up from nowhere. I'm an ordinary guy with an ordinary life that wants to make $1 million in 1 year. So here I am, trying to make $1 million, learning, going live every day, posting every single day without failing, to make my dreams a reality. And I hope to get viral, but it's getting very hard because I have 0 viewers, but in the future I know I will have 1 billion viewers. 1 billion, bro, not 1 million, 1 billion viewers. I need to keep going and keep trying. At this point I failed 55 times. 55 videos I post, and or more, I'm not sure. But because when I was at the hospital, I go live, I post, but then happened some things in my life and I wasn't able to post like for 7 days. So, but I continue posting every single day. I'm going live every single day. 55 days, and I get back up every single time. Every morning, I give my best. That's my story, bro. And I will go live and post every single day during a year to fight for my dreams. That's my story. That's living with debt. Live to my fullest every single day, because I don't know, any day could be my last, might be my last. Let's continue with the video. And I will put the counter because we are 165 subscribers. Let's go. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's continue with the video.
Was acquired for a life-changing sum. That story did more for my credibility than any credential. It wasn't polished, it was my actual life story and one of the craziest experiences I'd ever gone through. It was the story that saved me, right? Because when thousands of people ended up hearing this story of what we were going through, they couldn't help but act. You know, Ben Horowitz famously said, your story is your strategy. Your authenticity, your challenges, the things you've overcome, the stuff that you wish you had known 5 years ago. So run with the 5-year test. What blueprints or challenges do you wish someone had shown you 5 years ago? Share the chaos that almost broke you, right? Those moments that shifted you. Those are the stories your audience needs right now. You have a story, right? And what we now need to do is go and uncover what that story is for you. This is where the 5-line story framework comes in. And the reason it works.
My dream to create a world of impossibles. And I'm trying to create a world of impossibles right now, posting every single day. To prove that the impossible can be done. Trying to make $1 million to prove that the impossible can be done. Because if someone says someone doing the impossible, they start believing that they can do it too.
Is the same reason the biggest movies make billions at the box office. Joseph Campbell's The Hero with 1,000 Faces analyzed myths all over the world: Greek, Norse, African, and Asian. He realized they all followed the same structure, the hero's journey. Star Wars, The Matrix, Harry Potter, every story you love follows this arc. This is why I use a 5-line framework for business stories. Step 1, the mirror, where they are right now. You want them thinking, holy shit, this guy is literally reading my mind. Example, you're stuck in Slack all day. Message after message, it feels impossible to keep up. You keep feeling like you're on this treadmill. The day ends, you look yourself in the mirror, you're brushing your teeth, and you can't help but think to yourself, how long can I keep going like this? Every win still requires you. Step 2, the friction. Why they're like your example, outline framework for business stories. Step 1, the mirror, where they are right now. You want them thinking, holy shit, this guy is literally reading my mind. Example, you're stuck in Slack all day. Message after message, it feels impossible to keep up. You keep feeling like you're on this treadmill. The day ends, you look yourself in the mirror, you're brushing your teeth, and you can't help but think to yourself, how long can I keep going like this? Every win still requires you. Step 2, the friction. Why they're stuck. This is the personal cost and not just the business problem. So, an example here might be you keep missing your kids' birthdays, no real vacation in 3 years, your partner asks when things will slow down, and you have no good answer. Step 3, the realization. This is the epiphany no one tells them. For example, the problem isn't your work ethic, it's that you are the system. Replace yourself with systems and everything will accelerate. Step 4, the shift. Your transformation. I went from 15-hour days to 4-hour. This is the epiphany no one tells them. For example, the problem isn't your work ethic, it's that you are the system. Replace yourself with systems and everything will accelerate. Step 4, the shift. Your transformation. I went from 15-hour days to 4-hour days, burnt out to energized, and trapped to free. And last, the invitation. This is the natural next step. If this resonates, here's what to do. At this point, most understand the framework, but you still don't understand where your story breaks. That's exactly why the storytelling growth assessment exists. It forces you to map one. Here's what to do. 15-hour days to 4-hour days, burnt out to energized, and trapped to free. And last, the invitation. This is the natural next step. If this resonates, here's what to do. At this point, most understand the framework, but you still don't understand where your story breaks. That's exactly why the storytelling growth assessment exists. It forces you to map one story using these 5 lines and then shows you which of your line is killing scalability. If your stories aren't converting, well, this is gonna make it obvious why. People don't buy conclusions, they buy clarity about themselves. The mirror and friction earn that early, and then most people rush to the solution. Don't. Make them feel understood first, because if you can describe someone's lived situation better than they can, they're gonna trust you then to go and provide them with the right improvement or solution through your product or service. This becomes a skill that I find I can pick up by actually just going and getting outside of the room and just talking with customers. It's from these actual stories that I hear from your mouths that I'm able to then go and weave those into the different stories that I tell on this channel and all through Founder OS. The best copy just exists in the words of your dream customer. And so the same thing goes for the best stories you can tell. All right. So you've got the structure now, but here's one fatal mistake people make that stops them from making money, even with this framework, which is why you need to understand the right way to turn your story into sales. If you want to sell without sounding salesy, here's what you need to do. Where most people go and screw this up is that they go and have some sort of call to action that just jolts people out of this story. They'll go and tell this amazing story, they'll captivate people, and then they'll say something generic as hell like, hey, if you like this, go and join my newsletter. Or, if you like what I'm talking about right now, you should go book a call, right? Well, the thing that you really want to focus on is making sure that the call to action is tightly coupled with the story itself. A good CTA call to action is tightly coupled with the really want to focus on is making sure that the call to action is tightly coupled.
Call to action. Coupled
with the story itself. A good CTA is inevitable. It's a natural next step. The story opens up a loop and then the lead magnet closes it. An example is if I told you about being stuck at 22, working 13-hour days, and then said, if this feels like what you're going through, go and grab this guide so you can systematically remove yourself from operations. You see, that's connected, right? Not random. You want to be insanely generous. When you give genuine value for free, selling becomes natural. People think, if this stuff is free, what's inside the paid stuff? So after every piece of content, ask yourself, what loop did I open? What problem did I surface? What's the smallest, most valuable thing I can give that starts solving it? Where I see a lot of people screw up as they think that they're just done at telling the story. Most people I see online don't give anything away. Clearly go and guide them to the logical next step that's gonna help them solve that problem. And the good news here is that as they go and download that lead magnet as an example, you're gonna go and be able to collect that email. And as you probably know from watching this channel, email is the most powerful way you can sell to people. In any business, it's typically your email list that is your most valuable asset. So if you want the email, make sure that you have lead magnets that are tightly coupled to your story. This is how you create stories that convert. If you think everything I've shared sounds like a lot of work, then the good news here is you don't need new ideas every day. Most people are creating content on hard mode. Let me save you here, okay? Here's how to do it on easy mode. Now you just need to apply the content waterfall system. Before this system, I was posting randomly, inconsistent, burning out, trying to be everywhere all the time. So let me walk you through it. This is the content waterfall. My system starts with content creation, which is around 2 to 4 hours a week, one long form video, and then I turn that into one deep newsletter essay. I record different coaching calls, which are also content gold mines, and then distribute that out. But that's all my team handling it, right? Each editor is able to generally pull a bunch of the best moments from these long form pieces of content and then distribute that in places like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok videos. On the Instagram side, we typically use carousels, right? And it's my designer that goes and takes our core frameworks and puts them over there. From there, my copywriter can turn scripts into different long form content for platforms like LinkedIn as an example. And we also will typically go and take my raw writing, which I have in different journals, or I'm sharing right now on X articles or in my YouTube videos. And then they can go and take that and cut that up into 20 plus other pieces of content. To be clear, we don't just do this with everything, okay? The kind of way you want to view your content system, right, is that you're putting all of these stories out there to the world. And there's going to be some of your stories that are either insanely important or you see them perform extremely well. And so what you want to go do is take those winners, and then what we do is call it waterfall them. Waterfall meaning that you take that core story and you go and break it up into smaller pieces and distribute those smaller pieces. When you waterfall content, you go and you multiply it. The dark side of building a founder-led brand is the fact that it's you. So if you're not careful about multiplying your content, quickly it could feel like you're on a content hamster wheel. And this is why it's important to have the right team in place, editors, social managers, video producers, and the right systems in place like this content waterfall system. You get it, right? Having the right tools in place, the right people in place, and the right system to make this way more seamless, scalable, and effortless. For me, when I go and view building this story engine in my companies, right, it's moving from just being the creator of a personal brand to being the CEO of a personal media company. A personal media company, right, is gonna remove you from a lot of the actual content operation. It's gonna build leverage through your team and systems. And most importantly, it's gonna give you longevity. The best storytellers stay in the game for a long long period of time. And that's what we want to set you up for. Pick one story from your business. Maybe it's your origin story, some crucible story, or some story where this almost killed us. Film it, write it, map it everywhere it can live. YouTube Shorts, Instagram, LinkedIn, email, then repurpose it to all of these platforms. Most people invent something new daily, and I think that's a mistake, and honestly, it's exhausting. And that's why most people burn out and most creators just give up. Go deep on one story, pour your creativity, your authenticity, your vulnerability, your genius into that one story. Make it undeniable. Now, let your distribution multiply it. Build once, distribute forever. So here's where you go and take action. So buckle up. Step 1, use the storytelling growth assessment to map your story and then identify the first line that breaks conversion. Step 2, I want you to go and book a call with me and the team and then go and bring that assessment to the call, because we're gonna go and then pair that with our systems to see where your stories could be driving more revenue. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you in this next video where I break down how to build a profitable personal brand in just 7.
Okay, it was helpful. Okay, I learned a lot, and now I have to apply all of this. That's the reason why I learned, I applied. That's the reason why I tell you guys my story, because I want to apply what I'm learning. That's the reason why I tell you my story. I tell to you guys my story. That's all for today. Thank you so much for being here. 0 viewers, no problem. I have aliens watching me. So in the future I will have more than the whole planet watching me. I will have interstellar viewers. 10 billion viewers. I know that. Thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow. I will keep posting, keep creating, and giving my best. So, because I only have one life, one shot.